first assumption we make that phi belongs to A is redundant. We don't need that
No, that is needed.
because if E belongs to A, then E complement belongs to A.
Yes.
Their union sigma belongs to A, and its complement phi belongs to
Right.
A.
That's right. Fine. So the basic thing is that first thing that you need is it is non-empty.
Yes, sir. So if we
You
know
need
that.
that non-emptiness. Either you assume that it is non-empty,
Hmm.
or you assume that empty set belongs to.
Okay, sir.
Either assume that it is non-empty, or you need at least one set, say empty set. Fine.
One more thing, sir.
Ah,
If sigma is given to be a finite set,
yes.
then can we say that any sigma algebra on it is bijective to the power set of some other set? Like it has always 2 raised to power n elements.
Uh, no, if you have no, that you can't say.
Uh,
I think.
Actually, I could not find any counterexample.
Uh, I think what you said is right. I'm not sure about this, but I think what you said is right. I have a vague memory. I have a vague memory that somewhere I saw this. If
Oh,
your set is set omega is finite, then any sigma algebra on A. Yeah, I think if you
contains 2 raised to power n elements.
yeah, so in fact, so if you have if the generating set has got n elements, then the sigma algebra should be 2 raised to the power n. Something of this kind. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but something of this kind I have seen.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
Sir, I have doubt in a Riemann integration.
Yes, please.
Sir, I have a question of Riemann sum.
Mm-hmm.
Question is limit n tends to infinity.
Mm-hmm.
N to the power n upon n factorial.
Infinity.
N to the power n
Ah.
upon n factorial n, whole power 1 upon n. Sir, after taking a log, it is the form of Riemann sum. And I got log x on interval 0 to 1. It is not bounded.
In the interval 0 to 1.
Minus log
This
x.
function is unbounded, right?
Yes, sir. Sir, how can I apply Riemann sum in this question?
How to apply Riemann sum? Yeah, so basically the whole point is that this integral, the function is unbounded, first thing. And in fact, so integral 0 to 1 log x dx. Yeah, this actually diverges.
Yes, sir.
Which means that this sum is, but this sum, what will happen to this one? This is going to be limit n tending to infinity n upon n factorial power 1 by n. What will happen to n factorial power 1 by n? Yeah, so if you want the limit, then this is same as n factorial upon n plus 1 factorial. Yeah, basically you don't need this. Yeah, let's first verify what is the limit. Then we should be able to. Yeah, this is same as limit n tending to infinity. N plus 1 power n plus 1 upon n plus 1 factorial into n factorial upon n raised to the power n, which is going to give you limit n tending to infinity n plus 1 upon n whole raised to the power n into n plus 1. Well, you will have n plus 1 factorial, and even here you will have, so this will get cancelled. So the limit is going to be 1 by e.
E.
Yes. Yeah, limit is
E.
e. Yes. E. So which means that this limit exists.
Yes, sir. Actually, it is the proof.
But how do you realize this as the how did you realize this as the Riemann sum?
Sir, when I take log both side, first of all, I assume y is equal to limit n tends to infinity into n to the power n upon n factorial upon to the power 1 upon n. So then after taking log, first of all, I split n to the power n in the form of multiple n times.
Fine.
And
No, where have you taken the log? That you will have to explain.
So first of all, I expand this form n into n n times upon 1 into 2 into factorial, okay, upon to the power 1 upon n. After this, I take log.
So once you take the log, what is the value? What is the, so this will be limit n tending to infinity.
Yes.
Summation.
Summation log n upon r.
Are you running from?
Yes, sir, into 1 upon n. Yes. And I running from 1 to n.
1 to n. Okay.
It is Riemann sum, sir.
Yes. Log of this is a Riemann sum, but is this what is the log of this is a Riemann sum? I understand, but how do you get the?
Sir, is given expression we can write n to the power n को n into n times upon factorial
Fine, that's
n.
fine. No, wait. How did you realize it as so? So what is the corresponding function?
Yes, sir. Then, sir, when we can expand this form
function as log x. If you choose a function as log x, and if your partition that you chose is this one, right? 0, 1 by n.
Yes, sir.
No, it should be log of 1 by x.
Yes, sir. 1 by x.
This log of 1 by x. I think log of 1 by x is
Minus log x.
log 1 by x, but then you need more, not in the interval. Well, doesn't matter. That's right, fine. Log 1 by x, this is always going to be positive. So which is going to be same as integral 1 to infinity log x dx. So what will be the, so now I think you can, no, still it is going to be infinite, right?
Yes, sir.
How do you integrate log x? I forgot. Yeah, you will have to use the UV rule. No, if it is x
Sir,
log
by
x,
using by parts.
and how do you integrate by parts? Oh God, maybe, yeah, try to integrate 1 to infinity log x, but anyhow, this is again infinity.
Sir, taking log x as a first function and 1 as a second function.
1, so that UV minus integral
Sir, x log x minus x, I think.
no, V as UD, okay, x log x, okay. Okay, so fine. V is, so you want to integral u dv, okay, so yeah, dx x, so uv. But anyhow, x log x, this you'll have to evaluate from 1 to infinity, right? If you evaluate from 1 to infinity, no way. This is going to be divergent. That's not going to help us. It's not going to help us in any way. No. The length of the interval partition is 1 by n, mesh of the partition is 1 by n, and we have chosen correctly. No, but anyhow, you cannot apply this one, right? Sorry. Because log 1 by x is not a bounded function. You cannot apply this.
Sir, any alternative method?
This function from x lying between 0 to 1. This is unbounded. This is an unbounded function. You cannot apply. You cannot apply just like that. They may not even converge. You cannot realize it as this way. You will have to think in a different manner. Fine.
Yes, sir. Sir, any alternative method to solve such kind of question?
Any alternative, maybe you'll have to look into the book where from you have taken this.
In that book, not given a proper method.
Which book?
Basic. That book is basic. S. Chand.
Okay, maybe I don't know. If they have said something about what so-called improper integrals, then one may at least give a try, but otherwise it is beyond reach.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, okay, fine. So, yeah, so in the last class we introduced what is known as the so-called the concept of sigma algebra, motivated from the class of Lebesgue measurable sets. Right, and omega is any set, any given set. You are given omega and the sigma algebra A on omega, right?
Sorry, sir.
Ah.
Sir, we got a function is log 1 upon x and interval 0 to 1.
Yes.
If we integrate here, then we can replace, substitute 1 upon x is equal to u. Then we can integrate this. But how can we realize we can integrate?
Can you repeat?
Sir, our expression is limit 0 to 1 log 1 upon x dx.
Right.
And if we substitute 1 upon x by u, then we can able to integrate.
What will be du?
Du minus 1 upon x square. And sir, I can also rewrite x is equal to 1 upon u.
Wait. And then what you will have is integral from?
Minus log u.
Wait. Integral will be from 1 to infinity.
Yes.
So that what you will have is
1 upon
half. So dx will be log u upon u square du, right?
yes.
Now try to integrate this.
We
See that
apply integration by part.
see that this is finite and find the value, then you should be able to. Fine.
Yes, sir.
In that case, it should be possible.
But some problem is here. How can we decide we integrate this expression? First of all, we have to show it is a Riemann integrable. Then we can integrate.
So one thing is that this is not an usual integral. Whatever I've put it in the box, it's not a usual integral.
Okay.
This is an improper integral.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So which means that first kind or second kind? I think it's a first kind. Fine. So which means that you have an unbounded function in an unbounded interval.
Yes.
Right? The interval is unbounded, and therefore, so in fact, this because of this log u, that you'll have to take care. That's the main thing. Clear? So how to show that? So you compare it with root u. So in fact, so 1 upon u raised to the power 3 by 2. And then you should be able to say that this is convergent, this integral is convergent, or show that this function is integrable. This is finite. Show that this is finite, and therefore this whole integral is finite, because this integral is bounded by this. That you will have to realize. And then second thing that you will have to observe is that so this is bounded, and then calculate the value of this integral. These are the things that you'll have to do. Fine.
Yes, sir.
So it requires some time. So convert the given integral into, because it's a bounded, so it's an unbounded integral. So it's an unbounded integral of second kind. So first kind, you convert it into an unbounded integral, into an improper integral of first kind, and then you should be able to do it. Okay, fine. So if you have omega as any set and sigma algebra A on omega, so we saw that. So these are all the things that we saw in the last class. Fine. Now the main thing is that if you have a collection, any arbitrary collection, of subsets of omega, then what we saw yesterday is that, in fact, so this is this, there exists a smallest sigma algebra containing this given collection. You get a smallest sigma algebra, right? So, well, let's look at an example. So, in fact, so this is one of the most important one. In fact, we also saw how to generate. Fine. So, let's look at an example. Example in the sense that an important one which is generated by some collection, right? So look at R and then choose S to be all those U subset of R, is that U is open in R. Then the sigma of S, what is this one? So there is a name for this, what is known as, so this is called as the Borel sigma algebra. So this is one of the, so we'll denote this by B. This will be our notation, and whenever there is a need, we'll write it as BR, depending on the context. Yeah, in fact, so one could have chosen a more general, that let omega tau comma tau be a topological space you choose a topological space, then what is the Borel sigma algebra on this omega comma tau? It is the sigma algebra generated by this topology. They are one and the same. So it's the, well, not one and the same, it's the sigma algebra generated by open sets or the topology. Both are one and the same, in fact. Right. Fine. So this is one of the important concepts. So please remember this, and this is what we are going to use throughout, unless and until mentioned. Right. Yeah. So next one. Well, we have said that the Borel sigma algebra is generated by all open sets. But then what is that we know that any open set can be written as a countable union of intervals. Is it enough if we choose only intervals? What kind of interval? There are various variety of intervals, right? One is closed interval, closed, open, half open. Apart from which there are infinite intervals, right? Like unbounded intervals, right? Closed, open. Which side it should be unbounded? Left side unbounded or right side unbounded? So you will have variety of intervals. So which one to choose? So, but this tells us that you choose only the open intervals, fine. So our next aim is to show that the Borel sigma algebra on R is not only generated by open sets, but it is generated by different families of intervals. In fact, all these family of intervals, whatever I mentioned, bounded, unbounded, all these families, individually they are going to generate this Borel sigma algebra. Yes, that's what we are going to see. Well, let me begin with a lemma. So if S1 and S2 are any two families of subsets of omega, and if S1 is contained in S1, S2, so what can you say about sigma of S1 and sigma of S2? Which one is bigger among these two? Which one is bigger?
Sigma S1.
Which one is bigger? So you want to say this one, right?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Who said no?
So I think sigma S2 is bigger.
Which one is bigger, sigma S2 or sigma S1?
Sigma S2.
Others? Yes, Bishwa Prakash.
सॉरी सर टोपोलॉजी सोच लिया इसलिए मैंने सिग्मा S1 बोल दिया. सॉरी सिग्मा S2 ही होगा.
क्यों? Why?
S2 contain S1.
ठीक है, इसलिए S2 में S1 है, इसलिए क्या हो गया? Yes, Devranjan.
Sir, any sigma algebra generated by S2 will contain the set the family S1.
Yes, exactly right. Because S2 contains S1, any sigma algebra containing S2 also contains S1. And in particular, sigma of S2 contains S1, but sigma of S1 is the smallest. Therefore, sigma of S1 is contained in sigma of S2. So if S1 is contained in sigma of S2, then well, by definition, it is clear that sigma of S1 is contained in sigma of S2. Right? So these are the two things. Yeah, these two things you can prove it on your own. So I'm just leaving it. Huh? So now comes the main theorem that we wanted. Fine. Each of the following sets generate the Borel sigma algebra on R. What are they? Sorry, family of sets. Following family. Right. So first one is one which is open AB R with A less than B. Second one is 2 closed open, half open. Third one fully closed. Fourth one again half open, but this time open on the left. And then fifth one this is all these are going to be infinite intervals. Sixth one open. Seventh one now the other way. Open A comma infinity. Eighth one closed. So we are going to see that each of these collections, they generate the Borel sigma algebra, right? proof. The idea is to make use of this lemma, previous lemma. Right? So we are going to make use of this lemma to do things. Fine. Now let's proceed. Yes, what is B? That is the Borel sigma algebra. Just now we saw. It is generated by yes, proceed. It is generated by
Open sets.
open sets. So, by definition, of B, it is generated by open sets. Therefore, so in particular, so first thing is that so it is generated by open sets. So implies the sigma algebra B contains all the open sets. In particular, S1 is contained in P. That's it. And therefore, once you know that S1 is contained in B, the sigma algebra generated by S1 is going to be contained in B. So now we will have to show that B is contained in sigma of S1. Yes, how does that follow?
Because every open set can be written as a union of open intervals.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so we know from real analysis that every open set can be written as a countable union of open intervals. Therefore, if U is an open set in R, there exists a countable family AN, BN, NN, subset of S1 such that U equal to union over NN, AN, BN. Yeah, this much is known to us, which implies that U belongs to the sigma algebra generated by S1. Now, since U is an arbitrary open set, it follows that, what does it tell us? What does it tell us?
B is contained in sigma S1.
So it contains, so sigma of S1 contains all open sets and hence the Borel sigma algebra contains all open sets. And hence the Borel sigma algebra that is B is contained in sigma of S1. So thus sigma of S1 is equal to B. Yes, so we have shown one equality. So now from now onwards, what are we going to do? We are going to do the same thing, but only for S1. Yes, so now let AB belong to R with A less than B. Then, yeah, so let me start writing. First thing is that this, yeah, so what was the first one? Yes, so close to A, open B. This I can write it as intersection over N in N, open A minus 1 by N, comma B. And similarly, close to AB, I can write it as intersection over N in N, open A minus 1 by N, open B plus 1 by N. And then the last one is this side, A comma B, which is intersection over N in N, open A comma B plus 1 by N. Right? That's it. On the other hand, choose M and N such that two by M is less than B minus A. So why do we need this? This will be clear. Then, yeah, I can write the open interval AB as union N running from M to infinity, A plus 1 by N comma B. Now let me write down one up. And then same open AB, I can write it as union N running from M to infinity, A plus 1 by N comma B minus 1 by N. Finally, I can write it as union N running from M to infinity, A comma B minus 1 by N. Yes, fine. That's it. Fine. So what does all these tell us? What does all these tell us? Why should we write all these?
Borel sigma algebra will be same then.
The Borel sigma algebra is generated by Not only by S1 but also by S2, S3 and S4. So thus the script B equal to sigma of S1, which is same as sigma of S2, which is same as sigma of S3, which is same as sigma of S4. That's it. Remaining things, they all are easy. I'm just the same thing. So you'll have to do the same thing. So I'll simply say exercise. Right. Yeah, so I thought I'll be able to prove the so-called monotone class lemma, but I don't think I'll be able to even define. Yeah, so just 2 lectures before, when we did this Lebesgue measurable sets, we did something, especially when we wanted to show that it is closed under union, countable union. We had something. Let me just, so I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to write the same thing in the form of a lemma. The proof is more or less same. Given a class, in fact, it's a finite. EI such that 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to n. You are given n sets, class of sets from a sigma algebra. A, there exists another class Bi consisting of pairwise disjoint sets which are also from this given sigma algebra A and union I running from 1 to n Ai is equal to union I running from 1 to n Bi. Yes. This is first thing. Next lemma. Well, the above lemma holds if we replace finite by finite number of sets. Right? Yeah. So these are the things. 2 lemmas. Fine. Now, well, maybe at least let me define what is known as a monotone class. A family. Yeah, the proof of these two, they are quite easy and they are, and you know how to do that. I don't want to get into the proof. Yeah. Yeah, so before that, maybe before I get into these things, so yeah, so this pair, so if you have omega and A is a sigma algebra, this pair is what is known as a measurable space. This pair is called as a measurable space. Yes, I think I don't. Yeah, so rather than calling it as monotone class lemma for today, I think I'll have to only say about what is known as the Borel sigma algebra. Because today we have dealt only with the Borel sigma algebra. Yeah, I don't think I'll find time for, I don't want to get into a new definition towards the end of the class. Fine. So I think let me stop here. If you have got any questions, please, you are most welcome to ask.
Sir,
Ah.
when we generate Borel sigma algebra, we can use like open interval AB, right? Where
Yes.
AB belongs to R.
Yes.
Can I take A comma B, open interval A comma B, where A comma B belongs to Q and generate Borel sigma algebra because Q is tensor in AB?
In fact, they are going to give you the same result. That is one of your tube sheet problems, I think.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay. And also, sir, this is a problem I encountered in Raymond. That you said RAB is a metric space, but how do we prove that if and only if part?
No, RAB is a metric space.
Uh,
Can you repeat?
you gave us an exercise, right? RAB is a metric space and it is not complete. But how do we prove the if and only if zero wala part?
It is not a metric space. It's only a pseudo metric space. That's the main thing. Because you will not get this, for example, both the functions. If you look at this one, these two functions. Zero, if x equal to 0, 1 if x belongs to open 0 close to 1. And then you look at gx as 0 if, well, I'll write the other way. 1 if x belongs to close to 0 open 1, 0 if x equal to 1. Now if you look at integral 0 to 1 mod fx minus gx, this is going to be 0, but f is not equal to g.
Right, sir.
F is not equal to g. These two are not equal.
So, sir, can I talk about completeness in a pseudometric space?
Yes, still all these make sense.
Okay.
You
So
can speak
all this notion of convergence and all this makes sense in a pseudometric
yes.
space too.
Yes, all these make sense.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Ekansh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so just wait for a few more minutes. Once the class gets over, your doubts will be cleared. Fine. You have sent
Yes.
some questions.
Okay, sir.
Anything else? Any other questions? Yeah, so do well in your quiz. Be prepared. Right, so switch on your camera. For the class exam, you will have to switch on your camera for the exam. That's very important. Please switch on your camera.